Moray of Avarice. That is how we're starting today's video, because Sharks got the chance to take advantage of a sneak peek weekend here of this amazing new card. And yes, Tearlaments Despia. I guess the future looks like it's really here. Like 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 100K ladder here. Sharks, ladies and gentlemen, with Moray of Avarice. Banish one face-up fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster. You control to draw 2 cards. Well, oh boy, why would I not want to consider playing this card? Like, already considering within the Shark deck itself, this engine allows you to facilitate and generate some extra advantage. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll take it. So we have triple copies of Abyss Shark, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have triple copies of Beautiful Princess, triple copies of Buzz Buzz. We have 1 copy of Crystal Shark. Glad to see that at least we're still playing this. 1 Lifeless Leaf Fish, 1 Right Hand Shark, triple copies of the Silent Angler, and then we have triple copies of Synthana. Then we have 1 good old Call by the Grave, ye old reliable, 1 Instant Fusion, triple Moray of Avarice, 2 Potted Dizizes, 2 Ready Fusion. Then we have 2 Twin Twisters, 2 White Mare, triple Infinite Permanents, and triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords. Down here in the extract, we have 2 Totally Awesome, 2 Stealth Sea Kraken, 1 Utopic Future with 1 Draco. We have 1 Crooked Man, 2 copies of Stealth Kraken, 1 Silent Monarch, 1 Nash Knight, 2 Bahamut Sharks, 1 Abyssal, and 1 Rare Fish. Our side deck here is triple Sea Turtles, 2 copies of Lightning Storm, triple Raigeki, triple Anti-Scam Fragrance, triple Dimensional Bear, and 1 copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up, well, an interesting take on Fishy Fish. Like I said, I really do like the fact that Moray of Greed here gets a chance to kind of step into the format here, have people kind of turn their heads a little bit, like the preconceived notions that have been built around, you know, sharks. And then, you know, a draw card for water, did it really make a splash in the game? Yes, I really do think it did. So that is some New Age Sharks locking down a very high finish for you guys here. Next up is none other than branded Tearalaments. You know, the fact that somebody managed to finish this deck straight away and was able to kind of step into the format here and do its thing, it says a lot about the format. I mean, how much of this was really high rarity is really to be seen, but the big cool thing about this deck is it's finished 2nd place, which means there was 1 better deck in the room than it. So you love to see this. So we have 1 copy of Adlitium, 1 copy of Aluber, 1 copy of Mothman, 1 Danger Nessie, 1 Tragedy with the 1 Snow. We have 1 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Shell Beast, triple copies of Hoffins, triple copies of Myro, triple copies of Reno, triple copies of good old Shaylin, triple copies of Branded Fusion, 1 Branded in Red, 2 Branded Opening, the 1 Call by the Grave, triple copies of Dark Rule No More. We have 1 Foolish Bro, 1 Instant Fusion, 1 copy of Mystic Mind to slow down the game. We have triple copies of the Parallel Ruined Realm, 1 Terraforming. We have 2 Meta Noise, and 1 Solid. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Dahark, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Time Thief Reader, 1 Bahamut Shark, 2 copies of Kitagalos, 1 Kaleido Heart, 2 copies of Draco Stapili, 1 Mudmud, 1 Mirror Jade, the 1 Lubellion with the 1 Winda, and 2 copies of good old Albion. This right here is the reason why this deck is good. Alright, like, just making Winda, so stupid. And then, you know, obviously Draco Stapili is. So deck here we have triple Lava Golem, 1 Necro Banshee, 2 Token Collectors, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Feather Duster with 1 good old Zombie World, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment here, wrapping up your first branded Tearalaments list that I've got the chance to see. I'm sure many more will come out for this hybrid because, honestly, I like this deck quite a lot in terms of what it wants to do for the modern era. Next up here is Mathmech, Electric Boogaloo 2. Now, I've seen so many Mathmech decks out of this weekend that it's actually kind of crazy to me how many people just stepped up this weekend and went, you know what, we're going to see what Mathmech can do for power, and it's all because of Circular here. Like, honestly, just the fact at the end of the day that this card now exists basically facilitates a big extender and a searcher for either of these key pieces in order for this deck to get off the ground and start doing what it needs to do. So we have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Craw, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Ghost Bell, and the Haunted Mansion, maximum hand trap value, by the way. We have triple copies of Addition, triple copies of Circular, triple copies of Dimeter. We have 1 Multiplication, 2 Nabla with 2 Sigma. We have triple copies of Subtraction, 1 Called by the Grave, the triple Signet Mining, 1 copy of Equation, 2 copies of Decisors, triple copies of Imprim, and 2 copies of Superfactorial. If you notice, like, your ratios between, like, the 2 builds from today and yesterday, Equation was a 1 of and Superfactorial was a straight 2 of. Like, you're not trying to mess around with higher ratios. We have 1 Transcode Talker, 1 Zero Boros, actually seeing play here. We have 1 Splash Splash, 1 Link Aribo, 1 Link Disciple, 1 Link Devotee, 1 IP with 1 Cyber's Wit Kid, 1 Apo, 1 Access Code, 2 Laplace, 2 Alimbertian, and then 1 Final Sigma. Then we have triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, triple Space Rock, 1 Arby's Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twisters, 2 Dimensional Bear, 1 Induction. Really? All side versus monster control, gain 500 attack. If you control a Mathmech card, you can send this face card to the graveyard, target 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy it. Well, that's pretty good. We have 1 Red Reboot and 2 copies of Rivalry of the Warlords here. Wrapping up another Mathmech finish for you guys. I love to see it. Next up here is another Marincess deck. Like I said, I know we pulled a lot of Marincess together as well, because like this deck is just like the rogue buster right now. You know, like the first immediate thing I see here is we're back down to 1 Battle Ocean versus the previous build here. But I mean, it really does go to show, ladies and gentlemen, that you might want to kind of keep an eye on what's going on here in the format. It definitely, if you're going to like regionals up, maybe 1 Battle Ocean will be better, but like local levels down, I think I'd rather focus on, you know, 1 or 2. So we have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyous Spring, triple copies of DD Crow. We have 1 Basilemia, triple copies of the Blue Tang, 1 Mandarin, triple copies of Pascalis, triple copies of Seahorse, triple copies of Spring Girl, triple copies of Nibiru, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone with 2 copies of Signet Mining, triple copies of the Board Breaker, of course, 1 Battle Ocean, 2 Dive. You notice that like 2 Dive has become like more optimal. The fact that it is locked behind a once per turn, I think actually makes people want to play less of this, which is hilarious. We have triple Talents, triple copies of Imperm, and 1 copy of the Good Old Wave here. And then we have 2 copies of Sea Angel, 1 Marbled Rock, 1 Bubble Reef, 1 Coral Triangle, 2 Coral Anemone, 2 copies of the Blue Sluggeroo, 1 Aqua Argonaut, the 1 Iria, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Stealth Kraken, the 1 Bahamut Shark, and the 1 Abyss Dweller. Side deck here we have triple Lightning Storm, of course, triple copies of the Anti-Spell Fragrance, triple copies of Dimensional Bear, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Goes and Match here, wrapping up your Marincess list. And to be truthfully honest with you, I think in terms of like developments for what this deck does for the format, it's definitely going to stick around as one of the big old top rogue contenders out here, because so many people are just going to look at this deck and go, well, I don't know how to really handle this, and that's going to be your big success point out here for making this deck end up working at its best. All right, onwards to the last list here. We actually have Zachariah Butler's Eldlich list here. Now, the first thing I want to point out here is this card right here with Super Poly makes this deck just an ignorant monster. All right, like Zach told me that this card literally just tore through games and made life so much easier. And I mean, please take note of the amount of floodgates that are currently present within this build in order to adapt for the new format. So many of them. So we have 1 copy of Incredible Ecclesia, 2 copies of Eldlich the Golden Man, we have 2 copies of Fallen of Alvaz, triple copies of Brand of Fusion, 1 Called by the Grave, triple copies of Cursed Oldland, 2 copies of Nadir's Servant, triple Pot of Prosperity, triple Conch, 2 copies of Dogmatica Punishment, triple copies of Scarlet Sanguine, 1 Golden Land Forever, triple copies of Goes and Match, 2 copies of Haguano, triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords, triple copies of Skill Drain, and then we have triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Then our extra here we have 1 Frigette, 1 Lina, 1 Link Spider, 1 Polites, 1 Titaniclad, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Dragostability, 2 Mere Jades, 1 Garuda, then we have 2 Anintis, 2 Albion, and 1 Alba Renatus. Then we have triple copies of Lava Golem, 1 Arby's Feather Duster, triple Super Poly, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, triple Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment. Bada bing, bada wrapping up this chunk of deck profiles. For you guys, is there anything from here that you really want to mess around with in the future? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I really do think that this chunk of decks will help you guys in the near future. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later today with some more cool ass content. You guys stay safe out there, alright? Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.